They call me Dan, the Lakers DTLF. And I got a master plan for the Lakers back to the promised land. Spread the vision through my people, cause we fans are equal. When we reach 20K subs, yeah, we gon' drop a sequel. Another Laker anthem track, watch me run it back. Got the keys to the city where my Laker jet.
What up, NBA family and Lakers family? How you guys doing today? It is officially day 3 of NBA free agency. And today is the day. I told you guys asked me last night if I expected any splashes last night. I said no. However, today I definitely expect at least one, and that is the DeAndre Ayton news to fall. Now I have good news, and I also have bad news. And I told you guys 90% is not complete till it's complete. However, the good news is that yes, DeAndre Ayton is deciding between us, but the bad news is he also has the Pacers in the fold. And after the Pacers lost out on Miles Turner, they can also offer him a little bit more money than we can. So if you are DeAndre Ayton, here are your choices. You either get paid a little bit more, like let's just say $14 million a year, right? A little bit more, but you go and you play in Indiana in the middle of nowhere with no point guard. But you'll probably get a lot of touches just because you'll be one of the main pieces there, but no point guard. And if the rumors are true that he doesn't have a high motor, Rick Carlisle won't like that. He might bench him sometimes, right? So that's your option. Or you get to go to Los Angeles. You see the palm trees. You see the beautiful city behind me. You see the wonderful weather, the beautiful people. You get to come to Los Angeles. So much to do. Now, you never played for a city like this. You've been stuck in Portland and Phoenix. Okay? You get to come to LA, play with two of the best players in the league right now, and LeBron and Luka. Well, potentially LeBron, because we are hearing stuff. But you get to play at least with Luka, with Austin, and you get to make a career for yourself if you ball out, right? Which one would you choose, Chad? Would you go to little old Indiana where there's probably no pressure because, again, they lost Miles Turner, and obviously Tyrese Halliburton's rehabbing this year? Or would you come to the Lakers? All right, La La Land. All right, Los Angeles, California, the city of angels. Your choice, man. It's not. Look, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's rocket science at this point, man. Yeah, there's absolutely no pressure in Indiana because Halliburton is hurt. He could literally. I know they were just in the finals, but he could literally go there, put up a double-double, look decent, get a contract extension, and then that's it. You come to LA, the scrutiny is different. It's not for everybody, all right? You come to LA, the expectation is championships. It's not for everybody. Just ask Russell Westbrook. He melted so quick. He folded like a lawn chair, and he's from here, right? So it's not for everybody. You got to be able to live up to the expectations in LA. So that is something that DeAndre Ayton does have to consider. But my guess is still he should be a Laker today. If he's not a Laker, I blame Rob Pelinka for not being able to close the deal. All right, not being able to come out here and do what you got to do. Because remember, this is one of the few off seasons that LeBron James is no longer heavily involved right now. Right? Now, DeAndre Ayton clears waivers at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay? So we'll probably have the breaking news then. But I should, what concerns me about the whole DeAndre Ayton situation is that we should have had a, DeAndre Ayton has committed to sign to the Lakers type news already. The fact that he doesn't, it means he's still muling his offer. It's simple, man. You go and you play with TJ McConnell, right? Or you come and you play with Luka and LeBron. Which one do you want? Right? Which one do you want? Die Hard said, why even wear the hat, the LA hat, and troll us? If he goes elsewhere after that, I got something for his ass. No pity. Well, I'll tell you this, Die Hard. I do believe, and based on my source, that there was mutual interest, or there is mutual interest between the Lakers and Ayton. However, money talks. And now that the Pacers have came into the fold, it always feels like somebody C-blocks us. Everything was fine until the Pacers lost Miles Turner for lowballing him. And then, bam, now they want to turn around and get, the reconciliation price, which is Ayton. But again, it shouldn't be that hard for Ayton, man. Let's keep it a stack. It should not be that hard for DeAndre Ayton. It's simple. You either want to come to LA, revitalize your career. You want, one or maybe 2 final paychecks in Indiana. That's it. If you come to LA, you average 15 and 10 with a block and a half a game, you're going to get a contract extension from us. How long that contract extension is for, I don't know. And you're going to get plenty of offers from teams around the league if that happens. Right now, he doesn't have too many offers. He's got 2. From what I'm hearing, Indiana and the Lakers, right? So, again, but for me, I'd be pissed if we can't land even DeAndre Ayton. If even DeAndre Ayton, who's a B-tier list free agent, right? If you can't land that, then you have no business in LA, Rob Pelinka. You should resign and leave your badge at the door, right? Honestly. So I am hoping, and I'm hopeful that we're going to get good news here today. Hopefully, rather, while I'm on the live stream. Remember, guys, hit the like button. We get to 500, we go an extra hour. We get to 750, we go another hour, 2 more hours. So make sure you guys hit the like button early to get that algo going, and we can get those likes up there because I want to stay on live all the way till the Lakers news drops, even though that's not likely to happen till after 2, but who knows? But yeah, for those of you just tuning in, DeAndre Ayton is now deciding between the Lakers and the Pacers, okay? And meanwhile, LeBron is on vacation. He's not helping us recruit, right? He might be halfway out. We're going to talk about that in a bit. All right. The other rumor and the other report we heard today, right? And shout out to my boy Reto Actual, who, by the way, has hooked me up with all these wonderful wallpapers, making my free agency seamless, man. Shout out to him because it's a lot easier when somebody helping you out, instead of me just making all the thumbnails and everything. So shout out to him. But we made a post yesterday about Damian Lillard and should the Lakers be interested. Well, it turns out great minds think alike because Damian Lillard is drawing interest from many teams, including the Celtics, the Warriors, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, your Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. Now, why would I be opposed to this when this guy might be on a veteran's minimum? Low risk, super high reward if he comes off the bench. Why would I be opposed to this? A lot of people were opposed to it as if we were paying max dollar for this guy. Oh, he doesn't play defense. He's going to be a shell of himself. But he can be a shell of himself off the bench in the playoffs where we had no bench. Imagine having Lillard coming off the bench and drop 15 and 5 for you. Come on now. I'm not asking him for, logo Lillard. I'm not asking for Dame time. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for 15 and 5. Very capable of doing that off the bench in 25 plus minutes, right? Miguel said, if Ayton goes to Indiana and plays unmotivated, I can guarantee his career is going to die there. Agreed. Rick Carlisle is a hard ass. And so is JJ Redick, but, Ayton, we need you. We need you more than Indiana. We actually trying to contend. Indiana, they just want to sell tickets at this point, all right? Listen, here's my pitch to you if I'm the Lakers. Listen, come play with Luka and LeBron, reestablish your career on the brightest lights on planet Earth. Lakers Nation is going to make your light be so bright instead of dim like Indiana, right? Look, Miles Turner helped them to the finals, and they couldn't even reach a contract extension with him. They lowballed him. They paid him less than 20. And so he decided to go to Milwaukee. Do you want that for your future? We're not going to lowball you here. We got a billionaire owner. Indiana doesn't even go over the luxury tax. That's my pitch. That put me in the front office right now. That's my pitch to no BS. Just look the man in the eye and be like, look, you want to get paper or not? Are we in this to make paper together or not? Shake my hand if you want the paper. Do not turn back. Do not pass go. Do not collect $2,000. Just shake my hand. That's it. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to sign nothing. We'll figure that out later. Shake my hand. Let's agree verbally upon a deal so that we can pivot and get everybody else some help, right? And go on to the next big thing. That's simple. Lock it down. You either want to go with those cheap bastards in Indiana, couldn't even pay the guy that helped them to the finals, or you want to come with us. We got a billionaire owner. Look what we did with the Dodgers. All right? Look what we're about to do to the Lakers. You want to be a part of the next revolution? You want to be a part of the next dynasty? You sign on the dotted line right here, DeAndre Ayton. Right here. Sign right now. Don't even think about it. Is that cap too tight? Loosen it up a little bit. It's not letting you got to let the brain breathe a little, man. Come on now. Hey, what's up? What's up, Team Ambush? How you doing, bro? But yeah, think about this. And again, I don't want to speculate too much, but the Lakers could end up with DeAndre Ayton today. Then we can pivot and try to go get Damian Lillard to come off the bench, right? He can rehab all year long and then come back right in time for the playoffs, right? And here's the thing, right? According to The Athletic, it's being reported that there's interest in doing a deal sooner rather than later with Damian Lillard between those teams, between the Warriors, the Celtics, and the Lakers. My prediction, he goes back home and plays for Oakland. But what I would like, would I like Damian Lillard? Of course. Under a veteran's minimum, you'd be crazy to turn that down, no matter how injured he is. Right? All right, let's move on to the next topic. Is Windhorst has been onto something here, man. Slowly but surely, gradually, Windhorst is the idea is growing on him that maybe the Lakers will trade LeBron. All right, this is what he's had to say today. All right, day 3 free agency update. Hit the like button. Says here, my conversation over the last 3 days have crystallized that the Lakers are essentially viewing LeBron as an expiring contract. I'm just unlocking the door because I am not as convinced as before if it's impossibility, meaning for him to get traded. So essentially, what we've been hearing is that the Lakers have pivoted from LeBron from the moment we traded for Luka. Remember I said this when we traded for him? I said this is the Luka era now. People didn't like it when I said it then, but you could just tell. No input from LeBron on the trade. And they tried to trade for Mark Williams, who was a big man, to go alongside with Luka. Meanwhile, they didn't even want to get a big man for AD. So it tells you that the Lakers weren't sold on AD for a while now. I don't know what it was, but they are sold on Luka. And I think overall it's going to rub LeBron the wrong way. I think we are headed for a trade eventually. I don't know when, if it's this summer or if it's trade deadline or when, but I could definitely see it happening. I can see teams really ramping up their pursuit of LeBron, speaking with his agent, and try to convince him to join them. It could be the Knicks. It could be the Cavs. Now, a report did come out today that the Cavs weren't that interested in him. But again, that could change, especially if they struggle to start the year, right? There's pressure on them to win. But who knows, because Dan Gilbert is definitely stubborn. We've heard the Mavericks. We've heard the Warriors. Anything is possible. But, yeah, it's starting to feel like we are trending in that direction, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens. Things can change. One move can change the course of this entire offseason. Tasia says, if Pelinka offers a bad deal, Ayton goes to the Pacers. I can see that happening. Here's my fear, Tasia. I think we had Ayton in the bag, and it might be just that Pelinka is only offering 2-year deals because of his little timeline. And, again, if he's not able to close on Ayton, then he deserves to be canned because he hasn't got us a center in years since Anthony Davis days. And so that tells you that this man is just playing games at this point. Just playing games. Appreciate you, Kimmy. Go. Yes, let's get them likes up. Let's keep it going, y'all. I want to be here live when the news breaks. Regardless, I'll come back on live. But he said, that's not happening. He is starting. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? He said, I'll take Dame off the bench. Oh, Dame off the bench. Well, you got to remember, he's hurt. So they're going to want to ease him back. He might not be ready even in time for the playoffs. But if he is, they're not going to want to throw him into the fire right away. They want to ease him back in there. And that could help to the benefit of the Lakers. Now we can have a valuable bench option, right? Why start somebody who's only going to start off playing 10 to 15 minutes a night at first, coming off a major injury, right? Right, Dame off the bench would be beautiful, man. We would love to have him there. Let's see here. Carla, how you doing? Bahamas wants Ayton to go to the Lakers. Let's go. Shout out to the Bahamas. That's what I'm talking about, Carla. Yes, all the Laker Nation wants it. We want Ayton on the Lakers. He is the best option available. And then we can pivot and hopefully make more moves. Or Horford is still available. Chris Paul is still available, even though I'm hearing Clippers or Suns for him. And also, who else is available? There's a couple names. Obviously, Damian Lillard. There's a couple names still out there. If we can secure Ayton, then we can move on to the next big thing, right? What up, CJ? Today's the day, bro. I feel it, though. Lakers going to make a move today. You can just feel it. You can sense it. DeAndre Ayton clearing waivers in a couple hours. We'll know more. And then we can pivot. Whether he chooses us or not, we can pivot into the next thing. Hopefully he does, right? Yes, he can sign today. Let's see. I Play Sports says, it's nice to see that you haven't given up on the Lakers making moves, but it might be a lost cause unless we trade LeBron and his son. I wouldn't call him that, number one. Number two, why would I give up? It's only day 3, all right? For those of us that have been doing this for years and covering the NBA for years, we have experience. You can get impatient in free agency. Yes, I know Rob Pelinka's recent track record isn't good outside of the last trade he had for Luka, but I feel like there's pressure. You have Luka Doncic waiting to sign an extension. Something's got to give. You got to do one thing or the other. If you can't sign free agents, you better trade for some players. That's why I still have hope. And for those of you that know me, I'm, for the most part, optimistic, right? It has to be doom and gloom for me to really be pessimistic. But for the most part, I'm optimistic. I told you guys when we traded for Luka, regardless of if we won the championship or not, it was a win because now we got a super bright future. I still feel the same way. Regardless of whatever happens with LeBron, I feel like the Lakers have a bright future. I feel like Mark Walter will come out here and set the tone as soon as he, fully buys the team. We'll see. We'll see. I think LeBron getting traded, Dan, let the Luka era begin. There's a high possibility. And every day it sounds more and more likely. Every day. And by the way, to add fuel to your guys' speculation, right? Let's see if I can pull this up right here. This is what I mean about the passive aggressive stuff that drives some Laker fans crazy. LeBron James, look at the hat he's wearing. What does the hat say? Welcome home. Why would he wear a hat like that today and post it on social media? Why? Does that make sense? Let me zoom in here. Welcome home. What is LeBron King James trying to tell us? Chat. Right? It's always cryptic with LeBron. Could it be that he just picked a random hat out of his wardrobe? Sure. But it's LeBron James, right? It's LeBron James. I'm sure that he's trying to send a message to the front office. I'm sure. There's always subliminals with King James. You guys can have Ayton and the Warriors can have Horford. We'll take it. Horford is great. 15 to 20 minutes a night, no more than that. Ayton can play 35 plus if needed be. And that's what we need. We need 35 plus to start. But I'd love to have them both. Don't get it twisted. I'd love to have them both, but I know it's not likely. Don't believe the hype. LeBron ain't going nowhere. I don't know, Mr. Incredible. It's up to LeBron. It's not up to us. If LeBron really wants to be all in with the Lakers, he will be. If he wants to be all out, he will be. So I don't know if he will be in or out. Neither do you. And that's fine. I'm here for it, though. It's great for content. It is great for speculation. And if we do get some breaking news, I think LeBron James would be the greatest superstar ever traded. I think that's what the newspaper should read. I think that's what the tagline should read if he does get traded. Greatest superstar to ever get traded. History made once again, right? Come on now. What's up, Solo? How you doing? Now, again, it just sounds more and more likely every day based on the reports. But reports have been false before. We'll see. We have PTSD from last offseason. I feel that. It is very traumatizing. Last offseason was extremely traumatizing. And if we have a repeat of that, then you can all but guarantee LeBron will ask out. Only one chip to show for his Laker run. Shake my head. God bless MJ and Kobe. Well, I can't fully pin that on LeBron. Yes. Usually the blame falls on the shoulders of the player, but Rob Pelinka has his fair share to blame his slice of the pie, right? He hasn't done much as far outside of the Luka trade, and the 2020 season. What else has he done? He didn't re-sign Alex Caruso. He traded for Russell Westbrook. He's made plenty of mistakes along the way, right? And so that's Magic. Magic trading Ivica Zubac to the Flippers for Muscala, who only gave us like half a season and was trash. Really bad. How many times is he going home and then leaving and then going back home? What a joke. I mean, he's free to do whatever he wants. LeBron has changed the landscape of the NBA. He has unlocked ultimate freedom for the players. We definitely appreciate what LeBron has done for sure. Championships don't just grow on trees, man. It takes a lot of, hard work and determination, blood, sweat, and tears to get there. And the fact that LeBron was able to get us back up there, forever in his debt we will be. However, he doesn't own the Lakers, right? So that means when the Lakers want to pivot away, they will. And it looks like new ownership has already started that. All right, for those of you just tuned in, quick update, right? DeAndre Ayton, according to multiple reports, is going to clear waivers in a couple hours, and he is deciding between the Lakers and the Pacers. Easiest decision of his life. If he does not join the purple and gold, then maybe he's not as bright as I thought he was, okay? We'll see. We'll see what his decision is there. All right, quick update per Jovan Bull. Shout out to him. The Jazz are seeking 2 draft picks and a young player in exchange for Walker Kessler. Now, here's the problem. The Lakers do not have 2 draft picks to trade. They have a pick swap, and they have pick protection on one of the picks that they have. We could lift it, but I don't know if that's enough. So that's what they want for Walker Kessler. I knew the Jazz would be willing to budge. However, they want to overcharge. If I'm the Lakers, especially if you whiff on DeAndre Ayton, you swing for the fences for Walker Kessler. You have to. You have to give them almost anything they want. Not anything, but almost. You have to do it, man. We cannot be out here without a center. All right, this is day 3 of free agency. Let's get it right today, one way or another. I'll never understand player haters. Player haters? That's funny. Yeah. Player haters. That's funny. They always dismantle the Lakers in the media. We're here for it, man. We love it. It's always against the world. It's always us swimming against the current. We'll see. My guy D Free, what's up, brother? How you doing? Good morning. He said, the more that comes out about LeBron stuff and more, it sounds like the Lakers are the ones that are pivoting away from him, and it's not his doing. Probably didn't even offer a 1+1 again. That's what we're hearing, D Free. There's a lot of speculation going on, and I don't want to get too much into it, but yes, we're hearing that it might be the Lakers that want to pivot away, especially the fact that they didn't offer him even a contract extension this summer. If those reports are true, then LeBron already knows what it is. They want probably LeBron to retire and right off into the sunset and to have all that free, clear cap. That's what I think they want. Ayton has never been accused of being bright, so I wouldn't be surprised. Well, if he chooses the Pacers, we'll know for a fact that that's it. Got to get Kessler, right? I don't care what the price is. Go get him, bruh. Enough. Enough is enough. If you whiff on DeAndre Ayton and you whiff on Walker Kessler and you whiff on Al Horford, you whiff on everybody, you deserve to get canned right on the spot, Rob Pelinka. That means your closer abilities are trash. Maybe that's why LeBron didn't want you in the business meeting when he chose to sign here. Maybe. I don't know. I'm about had it with Rob. This is his last chance, man, to get things right, get us a big man, and get him for the cheap, meaning they have to give up assets. That way you keep your flexibility moving forward. Lakers have like 5 swaps. We also devalued our picks, including the one the Jazz have by getting Luka, and devalued it more by getting better. LOL. Key reason he played hardball with us. And that guy just been trying to finesse us forever since he took over the Jazz, and that's fine. But there's no more excuses for Rob. I'm done with making excuses for Rob. Rob has to show up or shut up and move over because Bob Myers is there. Move over because Masai Ujiri is there. They're both available. LeBron was on a private golf course in northern Ohio. I'm sure whoever was his concierge put together a welcome package for him with that hat. And, of course, he obliged by taking that picture. LeBron knows what he's doing, man. He's a marketing genius. Let's be honest. All right? LeBron would not mind going back to Cleveland for a farewell tour. Let's be honest. Especially if there's turmoil in L.A. And do I blame him? Absolutely not. A lot of people will get annoyed by it because, yes, LeBron flirts a lot with other teams, and we're all about loyalty here in LA as far as like what we expect from our players, but I get it. If you're not loyal to your player, you can't expect full loyalty back. So I get that part of it. I'm not mad at LeBron, but I do read the tea leaves, and I can see what LeBron is doing there. He's not slick. We can see what you're doing, LeBron. And he's not trying to be slick. He's trying to be straight up and say, hey, listen, I'd welcome a comeback to the crib, to the land of shore. Sure he would. Hey, thank you so much, man, for Super Chat. My guy, Super Yo-Yo says, I would do a 3-team trade. Utah, Dallas, and the Lakers. Get Walker, Christie, Maxwell, and some picks. LeBron goes to Dallas. Utah gets assets from Dallas. Figure out the salary to cover. If we had to trade LeBron, I think you can get just a little bit more than that. But if that's all we can get, then you have to pull the trigger. You have no choice. Getting Max Christie back would be huge. Walker Kessler would be huge alongside Luka. Maxwell, decent, and some picks. Yeah, it'd be great. But I'll be honest with you. If we're gonna trade LeBron to Dallas, as much as I love Walker Kessler, I'm going Derek Lively. We already seen what Lively Luka can do, right? And then I'm gonna have him throw in PJ Washington and maybe Max Christie. We'll make it work. We'll make the money work. They can keep their big 3 and add a big 4 to it. They can keep Kyrie. We definitely don't want D'Lo. They can keep Kyrie, D'Lo. They can keep AD and Cooper Flag. We know they're not going to move him at all. So that's what they can keep, and then we can work around the fridges if that ever has to happen. But, I like your idea. I like the adding Walker Kessler idea for sure. I think, unfortunately, some of those picks would go over to Utah because that's what they want in order to give up Walker. They have a premium price on him, and they're looking to cash in, fam. They know how desperate we are. This is why Ayton is so important. All right, landing DeAndre Ayton will remove some of that desperate stench from the Lakers, and then I think maybe we can deal from a better standpoint. maybe, right? But again, yeah, they're talking about a revenge season coming in the next coming year for Luka. He looks great. By the way, while we were live on air, there is some breaking news, right? New York Knicks expected to land two-time NBA Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. Actually, not while we were live, a little earlier. The franchise's next head coach. So congratulations, Knicks. They got a really good, solid coach. He's been able to navigate out of the East with LeBron nonetheless. And, he was able to win a championship. So he's a championship-level coach. Shout out to Coach Mike Brown. Thank you so much, Super Yo-Yo, for that super chat. D3 says, I also wonder about how they would treat him. They do well by Batmans, but in reality he's no longer that for them. Good point. And that's sad. I kind of don't like that, because he helped us get to the title. I do believe we will give him whatever he wants. I do believe for sure the Lakers would give that man whatever he wants, wherever he wants to end up, regardless of what the package return is. That would be the thank you right there. However, I don't think the Lakers would take on long-term salary unless they really, really, really like a player, right? If they like a player, then they'll take on long-term salary. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel about what they're about to do, assuming he asks for a trade. We got to honor his destination. He has a no trade clause. We have no choice, right? Let's see. Walero 18 says DTLF. Do we try trading AR for Kessler since he didn't want to sign? What do you think? No, that would be a holy overpay. They already don't have Colin Sexton or Jordan Clarkson no more, so they're not going to include, unless they're willing to include that young piece they got, right? The fourth overall pick, Ace Bailey. But no, you do not trade AR for Walker Kessler just based off of that. First of all, the salaries don't match. Secondly, we leave a gaping hole at backup at ball handling guard, right, who can score and play make. And then finally, I still believe the Lakers in Austin are going to reach an agreement if he stays here. So you don't just trade him for a role player just because he didn't re-sign the extension. It made super sense for him not to re-sign. He can get way more next summer, right? So that's the reason that didn't happen. Just hopefully that answers your question. He said, give up Reeves and get a pure scoring two guard, get a big man and defensive-minded wing. The Lakers will be 2026 champs. If we get a pure scoring two guard, I want Malik Monk. That's what I want. Jordan Clarkson is no longer on the market. Shout out to the Knicks for signing him. Get a little acquisition right there. There's very few scoring guards that are available right now. I have been hearing that the Kings would be willing to offload Malik Monk, which I figured would happen after they traded away, ex-Kentucky guard De'Aaron Fox, his running mate. So, again, there's still moves to be made this offseason, but right now we have to address the big man position more than anything. I'm not even trying to offload Austin just to offload Austin. I'm not trying to do that. Twitter is trying to say that picture is because the Diddy verdict today, despite the fact that the picture is hours older than the verdict. That's crazy. People in conspiracy theorists. I'm sorry, that's pretty funny. That's a funny joke. People are they're funny online, man. We gotta take everything as a joke. Ain't no way, bruh. Yeah, yo, Amir, very solid coach. What's up, brother? How you doing? A very solid coach right there. Mike Brown. I think that was probably as good as they can get as far as the offseason acquisition for head coaches, especially considering the fact that they were, scouring the market for a coach and they couldn't land one right off the rip. But yeah, Mike Brown, I think is I wouldn't say an upgrade. It's kind of a lateral move, but the only upgrade comes in the fact that Mike Brown won't run your star players through the ground. So that is going to vote well for guys like Cat and Jalen Brunson and OG, right? Mike Brown should be able to use more of that roster depth for sure. Hey, what's up, Chewy? The only update is that DeAndre Ayton, according to multiple reports, is choosing between the Lakers and the Pacers. Easiest choice of his life. Let's see if he doesn't butcher it, man. If we're being honest. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat. Thank you for posting the links. Yes, this video is brought to you, sponsored by Underdog and Prize Picks. Link in the description right there. Shout out to Kimmy Goat. Very easy to download. Promo code DTLF. D-Free says he must not have thought that they would give him what they would want, which is why he would opt in. That's the only control he really has. Shocking reality for a guy like him. You know what, man? I'll be honest with you. I'll be quite frank. Everywhere LeBron goes, eventually he has a power struggle with the GM. It almost felt like LeBron feels like he's too big for the franchise, and he need, and that's just not the case here. It might have been the case in Cleveland. He definitely was bigger than the Cleveland franchise. They ain't won shit till LeBron got there, and he led them to that promised land. So he definitely bigger than Cleveland. Not bigger than Miami, not bigger than the Lakers. Both of those franchises had championships, multiple championships before he came along. But I'll say this about LeBron James. He's very strategic, very intelligent. Him and Rich Paul are a power duo, and I think that threatens a lot of front offices. They eventually get tired of all the demands and meeting all the requests and everything. From the Lakers standpoint, they're probably like, listen, we went and got you AD. We went and got you Russ, right? Whether you want to blame him or not for Russ. It was his good friend. We went and got you Melo. We went and got you now, all this. Now we got to get one for us, and that's Luka. And, there's going to be a power struggle there. And I knew it when we traded for Luka. It felt like we're pivoting away from the LeBron era and from the AD era. And I also mentioned that offseason before we traded for Luka that this could be an end for LeBron and AD. I kind of figured it out before it happened, one offseason, because we kept stumbling in that first round. And the Lakers, I'll tell you one thing about the Lakers. Historically, if you can't get far in the playoffs, they're going to break that team up sooner or later, most likely sooner. So that's what I think happened. I think LeBron and AD had their run, and they ran into first-round teams, and that's now 3 years that, because let's be honest, LeBron, even though it's supposed to be Luka's team, LeBron still had a better playoff than Luka. So essentially, it was still LeBron's final year. So it's been 3 straight years where LeBron-led teams haven't got us past the first round in the West. And so if you're the Lakers, you got to start thinking business now. Hey, man, what do we have to do moving forward now? We kind of have to think about ourselves. We have to think about our future. We have to keep our flexibility. We can't trade all the draft picks anymore. We got to hold on to Austin. We got to hold on to Dalton. If we do trade any of the young pieces, it's going to be for pieces Luka wants because he's our future. That's how I think the Lakers are thinking. Not saying I agree. As long as you have LeBron and Luka, they're your two megastars. You have to build around both of them. But I understand also where the Lakers are coming from. They probably felt like they already gave their all, even though Rob left a lot to be desired. But that's how they feel. We gave LeBron this. We gave LeBron that. Didn't work out. Now we pivot. Successful organizations have to think like that sometimes. Unfortunately, it's not always pretty. But again, me personally, as a diehard Laker fan, I love LeBron and what he's done and the fact that he came here and helped us reestablish ourselves and get back to where we belong at the top. You cannot just sweep that under the rug if you're a diehard Laker fan and say, oh, we're done with LeBron and we're ready to move on. It's not that simple, right? You have to make sure that the divorce is a beautiful divorce. If it's ugly, it'll rub future free agents the wrong way. Look at, future free agents can say, look at the way they treated LeBron and then not want to come here. If they did that to go James, right, quote unquote, what will they do with me, right? You don't want to have that type of rep. So again, the only way you trade LeBron is if you request one. I personally think that the Lakers deep down inside just want this man to retire and walk off into the sunset. That would have been the best possible outcome for the Lakers organization, right? So, yeah. Hey, appreciate you. Hey, Karen, thank you so much. Or is it Karan? My bad, bro. I might have said that wrong. He said, appreciate the daily streams. I'm a Laker fan in England, so it's hard to get right up to date with info. I got you, fam. Number one source for all things Lakers, NBA, and so much more. I got you, my brother. Thank you so much for the love and support and, of course, the kind words. Let's see. Solo says, I believe Reeves would be really good for us off the bench. Me too. Remember, I was vouching for that as soon as we traded for Luka. I couldn't see both of them coexisting in the starting lineup. JJ was stubborn. Maybe they didn't want to rub, Austin Reeves the wrong way. But if you really want to win a championship, you want to compete, you have to sacrifice. That's what Manu Ginobili did, and that's what Austin should do. Manu could have been a multi-time all-star, and he could have been this, and he could have been that. He chose championships. It's hard to find players that choose championships over personal accolades nowadays, but they're still out there. Yes, Dan, Malik Monk. That's just who I was thinking. And get DeAndre Ayton. Yes, bring them both. Bring them both and bring them now. Malik Monk is going to hit the trade block because the Kings don't know what they're doing. They just have a ex-Kentucky guard, and it is, exciting to see. Again, let's see what happens. Let's see. It says here, Giannis is confirmed to have known about the Miles Turner signing beforehand and was said to be excited per Ramona Shelburne. And then Damian Lillard tweeted something funny. It shows Nacho and Nacho Libre doing the little. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's funny, yo. There's already drama and beef. So if you're Dame, you probably want revenge. If you're Damian Lillard, you probably want revenge. Why not also come to the Lakers? But there you have it. Look at Damian Lillard's reaction to that tweet that Giannis knew about Miles Turner signing before it and was excited. Oh, my goodness. You love to see the drama. Stuff is stirring up. I really think it's messed up. Think about this. This man, Damian Lillard, dealt with blood clots and then came back, rehab, came back, got on the court, injured himself for the Bucks, and they just kicked him to the curb. And now Giannis is made to look like a snake. Who knows if these reports are even true, honestly. Giannis doesn't seem like that type of person, but who knows, man. Bottom line is things are getting interesting around the NBA. Really interesting. A little too interesting. A little too interesting, chat. Right? And we're still waiting on the Laker update. And hopefully we get one here during the live stream chat. But I got you guys on all things free agency. I'll take a couple comments and questions and concerns. Let's see. D-Free says, and the main knock on Thibs was that he had no idea how to run an offense. Their spacing was terrible. Their schemes were terrible also. For me, the main knock on Thibs was that he ran star players into the ground. It's been happening since the Derrick Rose era in Chicago. And, you know, it happened in New York. He really was overplaying star players to the point where he wasn't using his depth. I thought he had good bench depth. Guys like Precious Achiuwa were at the end of the pine. They weren't getting no playing time. So for me, that's the biggest criticism. But yeah, I've heard that one as well. D-Free for sure. Let's see. Bron was a negative this season. How so? I would love to know how so. At times, he still looked like the best player in the playoffs. Who was the best player for us in the playoffs? We're going to find out your level of hate for LeBron James, guys. Who was the best player in the playoffs for the Lakers, even though it was a short, small sample size? I want to know. I love Bron, but his fans are annoying. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of fans, any player fans that can be annoying, but just like regular fans, there's good and there's bad. I know tons of player fans that are really awesome, that are good friends of mine. Shout out to all of them. They know who they are, you know. Shout out to all of them. And some of them even became diehard Laker fans in the process. They fell in love with the franchise. So I can't put everybody in a category, but I know what you're talking about, Ricky, because I went through a similar experience with Russell Westbrook fans. I even got death threats just for calling him out and you know, calling him out when he had a bad game and stuff like that. So, you know, we are not fazed by any of that stuff, but at the same time, you know, at the same time, it is what it is. Let's see. Exactly. That's what a lot of LeBron haters don't realize. You know, here's the thing. People want me to pick a side. I'm always pro Lakers, but I'm also a truth teller. I can't sit here and blame LeBron for stuff that he's not to blame for. LeBron is 41 years old. LeBron was still the best player in the playoffs for us. Still, Luka got, you know, Luka was on his way. He had the first two games were amazing. He had over 30 points. It was going crazy. But then he got the food poisoning. People forget about that. And the next couple games were mid, right? LeBron was the best defender for us in the playoffs. LeBron brought us back a gang at times in the playoffs, even though it was only one round. LeBron James was still the best player at 41, so I can't really critique him opting in or anything like that. This is not a team built for LeBron. Have you looked at the team? No center, no defense. Well, this is not a team built for anybody, Sharon, to add to your point. This team is not complete. It's incomplete. We need a center even for Luka. So, yes, I understand what you're saying. Appreciate you, Kimmy. Go. Let's see. So bittersweet. Huge question around 2021. Team was good enough to go back-to-back. And if Darvin didn't sabotage us in 23, we could have beat Denver. And the fact that Rob didn't make moves for 2 years, all bad. And, you know, on this channel, I'm all about forget about personal feelings here and whose feelings get hurt. We're all about holding everybody accountable. Rob Pelinka, during his tenure, the two best things he has done was that summer he had 2019-2020 when we won the championship. That's the main one. The second thing is landing Luka. Outside of that, there's been plenty of misses and a lot of fireable offenses. The fact that he even has contract extensions, multiples, tells you a lot about favoritism. And hopefully under new ownership, we'll have no favoritism. It's perform or be exercised like a damn demon and get your ass out of town, right? Austin needs to be the sixth man. The lack of defense between Luka and Austin kills us. Yes. Yes, I agree, Tasia. Absolutely. Especially since we traded for Luka. I mentioned it the moment we traded from. People thought I was tripping because Austin was playing like an all-star at the time of the trade. But for me, it's all about balance. You have to bring balance to the Laker roster. You have to have a bench. We had no bench. All the offense was in the starting lineup, and that's not good. Gabe Vincent gave us diddly squat, and especially in the playoffs, right? We had no bench. Austin would solve that. He would be the first option off the bench, and I think he would have won Sixth Man of the Year had he bought into that role. I don't think he wants them to trade their young guys, but I do think he wants them to make a win now moves in this year. Contractually, it almost sounds like the Lakers are punting this year, to be honest. They cannot punt this year. Now, I disagree. I do think he wants us to trade the young guys. Historically, he always has. Remember when he got mad at Cleveland and left to the Lakers because they didn't trade Colin Sexton, or the pick that eventually became Colin Sexton? So I do believe he wants us to trade the young pieces. Here's my thing. I have zero problem with trading the draft picks. We're always going to have future pieces regardless, right? Lakers always figure it out. We got Austin Reeves. Our best young talent we have on the team was undrafted, okay? We got some promising two-way contract prospects this summer. We bought a late second-round pick that could have been projected to go first round. So the Lakers always figure that out. That's not the problem. The problem is that teams on the opposite teams don't want to deal with Rob Pelinka and the Lakers in good faith, and they want to take arms and legs from us just to make a deal, right? So I think that's the biggest problem. That's the roadblock that we have. That's the roadblock. Let's see here. Barry says, you guys are so focused on LeBron. Please, LeBron is a part of the Lakers. Let's pray Pelinka do the right thing. Go Lakers. Well, I'm only focused on the things that are being reported. I root for LeBron. I root for all of my Lakers equally, man. That's the thing about me. Again, it's the name on the front of the jersey before the back, right? And so I want LeBron to finish it out his career here with the Lakers and finish out his final season. I do believe this will be his final season with the Lakers. There was a little viral clip that had Savannah telling him to retire after next year. So we saw what happened with Tom Brady. Tom Brady overstayed his welcome. He ends up losing Giselle, unfortunately. We would hate to see anything like that for LeBron James. He has a beautiful family. So I hope he does what's in the best interest of him and his family. But we do have to look out for the Lakers. And, that is my primary concern. I do hope that the Lakers make the right moves by everybody. But, again, we'll see. We'll see what Rob does as he's on his last legs potentially. Right? Now, let's talk about Damian Lillard, because Damian Logo Lillard, all right, as it was reported earlier, there's interest from 3 teams, right? Maybe even more. The Lakers are one of them. I want to know what you guys think about Damian Lillard and how he would fit on this roster, right? He's not a defender. He's going to be half a step, if not more, slower after that injury, and it might take time for rehab. We might not even get him this year. Is that a risk you guys are willing to take, right? Basically an empty roster slot to make that happen? I want to know. That's what I want to know. Well, hey, what up, Carlos? Fireworks before 4th of July, and there is close to 1K viewing and only 199 likes. Hit that like, Laker fam. Yes, let's get the 500 before the top of the hour so I can go an extra hour with you guys. Otherwise, I'll leave and come back when we actually break the news. But I want to be live with you guys. There's so much to break down. And I want to talk about Damian Lillard. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. I want to talk about Dame. How would he fit here with the Lakers? There's only one place for him to come for the Lakers. It has to be off the bench. That's the only place. That's the only place, man, that I would take Damian Lillard off. If he wants to come here and start next to Luka, I say no, thank you. Austin Reeves already a poor defender as far as size and matchups, not as far as efforts and taking charges and moving his feet and having active hands. But a lot of times as a 2 guard, I liked him better at the 1 before we traded Luka, because at the 1 he can get away with guarding smaller players, which would, less of a liability. It's what they did with Steph Curry. But at the 2, there's some big 2 guards. I'm talking 6'6" and up. And a lot of them are strong and more athletic than Austin. They overpower him. You get Damian Lillard, man, off of such a major injury, even if he's ready in time for playoffs, he must accept this role as a bench player. Same thing for Al Horford. I don't want either of those 2 guys starting if you acquire them. That's my only stipulation to, going after players like that. That's all I got to say about that. What do you guys think? Solo said, I can't stand player fans that think their player can do no wrong. And those fans that think a great player isn't great at all, no matter what they do. So I get what you're saying, a happy medium. I get what you're saying. We definitely have to give credit to the great players, and we definitely have to call out their flaws. I think there is a happy medium. There has to be a happy medium, and that's always the balance that ESPN and other companies struggle with, right? You're either too much of a hater or too much of a lover. It's really hard for them to strike a balance, unfortunately. I see what you're saying there, Solo. Fair point, but they did give him a max contract when he wasn't a max player. Who are we talking about, Kobe? Who are we talking about? Do you see LeBron getting traded to the Mavs for like Clay and Daniel Gafford type trade that won't mess up the Mavs' future and can go for it now? Yes, unfortunately for my Lakers, I do. I can see that happening. However, I think the Lakers can get a sweeter deal than that. I think you guys could keep Daniel Gafford and AD, and I think the Lakers would actually want Derek Lively, and I don't think LeBron would object to that, right? Because if you have AD, you got Cooper Flag, you got Derek Lively. I'm sorry, not Derek Lively. You got Daniel Gafford, you got LeBron. You're set. You don't need a young stud like Derek Lively. You can afford to dangle him, right? Although LeBron has a no trade clause, you have to remember that it's in his best interest to also work with the Lakers to try to get a deal done if that ever does happen, for the simple fact that if he goes into free agency, he would have to take a huge pay cut. In contrast, if you trade him for the salary fillers, then they can just turn around and extend him and he can get his money. So far, LeBron has not been anybody to take a pay cut throughout his career, at least much of a pay cut. So I think it would benefit him to accept a deal that the Lakers want as well as him. They kind of have to find a medium. If you're the Lakers, if you're trading with Dallas, there's like three untouchables. There's Kyrie, there's AD, and there's Cooper Flag. I think anybody else could be had for the Lakers, and you can put together whatever package you want. If I'm Dallas, you have to think like this, because Lakers will turn around and say, no, we don't want to trade with Dallas. You guys are lowballing us, while the Knicks are offering OG Anunoby and Josh Hart and a first-round pick. Or the Cavs are offering, Darius Garland and their big man, Jared Allen, right? There could be better offers. And so, of course, LeBron can turn these down, but at the same time, we could end up holding LeBron hostage till he accepts one of the more favorable offers, right? So I think, and then Nico has a great relationship with Rob. I think they would play nice, and I think we'd find a happy medium. I think a package of PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and maybe Max Christie and fillers to the Lakers for LeBron James will work for both parties. The Mavs become instant favorites in the West, or at least one of the top three favorites, because, again, cannot discard what the Rockets and the Thunder are, or even the Nuggets now. And then the Lakers, they have a bright future. They could also be competitive, stay competitive in the West. And Derek Lively, somebody that has great chemistry with a Luka. Not necessarily a star, but a star within his role, right? So, yeah, that's my answer to your question. I think we can find a happy medium. Yo, what up, Isaiah? How you been? I'm doing good, man. Thank you for asking. Just staying busy, brother. I do believe the Lakers will make a move today, for sure. I'd be shocked if today passes and nothing happens, right? Even the Knicks have made moves. The Knicks just hired Mike Brown as their next head coach. Congratulations, New York. You got a good one. My boy said, pass on Dame. I won't if he buys in and comes off the bench, because that will give you insane depth come playoff time, right? So I can't pass on him. He's just too big of a name to pass on. Denver Nuggets, baby, what's up, man? Much love and respect. Hoping your Lakers can make some moves in free agency. In your opinion, what would it take for the Lakers to be contenders? Who should be traded from the Lakers, do you think? In my opinion, we need two elite big men, or at least decent big men. Let's start with DeAndre Ayton, and let's go out and either trade for Nick Richards or trade for, somebody, or sign an Al Horford, a veteran big man we can trust. Then we'll have to turn around and get a guard to lead the second unit, right? Because I do not believe in Gabe Vincent, all right? I think Kevin Durant said it in a LeBron podcast. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read somewhere that, 6'5" and under guards are cooked in the NBA because it's all about size now. And I agree with that. I was mentioning that the other day. Like, we need to start getting some bigger guards, right? I'd much rather go and sign a Dante Exum to come off the bench and trade away Gabe Vincent. So there's some things we can do. I would not mind Dame. I would not mind Chris Paul, veteran like that, off the bench. But they have to buy into coming off the bench. I do not want to start these old geezers, man. I do not want to do it. Keep Bronny so best players come back on LeBron James trade. Well, you might be onto something, right? Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I do believe his father would want his son next to him. I think LeBron is holding on for Bryce. I think that's the main reason that he doesn't want to retire on year 23. It would make too much sense for him to retire outside of the fact that he wants Bryce to come back. Here's what I suggest to LeBron James is there is going to be an expansion. If you want Bryce that bad, buy an NBA team. You're a billionaire. Group up with some team and then make all the decisions. Trade for Bronny and go and draft Bryce. That would be a better option than sticking around to play, for him to get drafted, only for him to probably get cut by the same team the year after you retire. I wouldn't risk it. I don't know. We'll see. He said he was a negative on the court this season. However, if you dig into the lineup data, it's because LeBron can't carry a lineup by himself anymore. The lineup we saw with Luka, where it's Luka and Scrubs. Here's the thing about that plus, negative, plus, minus bullshit. Everybody who saw the games knows that LeBron James was still the best player last year, and that can't happen next year. It has to be Luka, right? LeBron is 41 going on to 42. Can't happen, right? Mathematically, it just doesn't equate. Let's be honest. A 42-year-old carrying a team still, you're risking a bad injury. That's the last thing we want for LeBron James at the end of his career. We don't want that for LeBron. We don't want that for King James. Come on now. Jose, how true is Ayton to the Warriors? I have not heard a single source, not even my own, tell me that there's a chance of that. I've heard, and again, sometimes there's moves that happen, right, that you never hear about. But I've heard Al Horford is a higher possibility to the Warriors, bro, to answer your question, Jose. But yeah, I have not heard a single source, not even my own, tell me that there's a chance that Ayton goes to the Warriors. Here's the thing that I have for concern. By now, we should have already heard that DeAndre Ayton is committing to signing with the Lakers once he clears waivers. We haven't heard that. That means Rob Pelinka is, shooting blanks, right? He's freezing up at the 1-yard line. Again, he's done this before where we think we have a free agent and then bam, he turns around and goes elsewhere. Can't have that happen again, all right? You cannot have that. That would be devastating, especially with the limited pieces that there is in free agency as far as bigs go. No. I'm tired of the Lakers signing vets, then play them 35 minutes a game at the expense of developing our youth. Well, here's the problem, bro. Right now, we're trying to win now. So you need at least 25 and up players. At least. Preferably, you want some vets because they're more reliable. But, again, this free agent market is kind of dry. Right? So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But it's interesting for sure because as of right now, it is 11:22 a.m. Pacific time, right? Which means, let me do the math here. It is 2 p.m., 2:22 Eastern time. The Lakers still quiet. Usually when they're quiet, they're working the phones, usually. We don't have any news on Ayton, which I thought would have happened already, right? We're about to reach top of the hour, so make sure y'all hit that like button. When we get to 500, Kimiko, let me know so I can stay on it an extra hour or two, all right? But here's the thing. We need that Ayton domino to fall, right? Once that falls, we'll know more. We'll be more in the clear of what the plans are exactly, right? We'll know a lot more. We'll be in the clear of what the plans are exactly for the Lakers. If for some reason we whiff on Ayton and we whiff on all these bigs, yeah, you can all but guarantee LeBron James is out of there. All but guarantee it. D3 says, yeah, but he's also not been asking for guys like Max or AR to be traded. He's been okay in LA post AD with development, but he doesn't give a damn about picks. Facts. And I think that is where the Lakers bump heads. He's never given a damn about picks. And the Lakers still have one in a pick swap and a bunch of, future second-round picks. Does Chris Paul not want to join the Lakers? Last report I heard, it might be between the Suns and the Clippers. But I wouldn't be shocked if we swoop in there and get him. I would not be shocked if we swoop in there and get him. We need a veteran like that. Or, like I already mentioned, go trade for a Malik Monk. Or bring me Dame off the bench. Let's see here. Let's see if we have any updates for you guys. Nothing yet, guys. It is dry out here. So there's even more reports saying that, I don't know if you guys heard this already, but Rashard McCants, I don't know how credible he is, right? Rashard McCants from the No Chill Guild podcast is saying that the Lakers and Rob Pelinka allegedly told teams that DFS ankles were cooked to lower his value, right? That's horrible. And that would prove that you are the snake that Magic Johnson said you were. That would be egregious if that happened, and that burns a lot of credibility with free agents. If that happened and that's true, then he needs to be canned yesterday. He needs to, because it's going to be really hard to land any free agents knowing that, right? If anybody catches wind of that, even DeAndre Ayton, he might say, oof, I don't know if I can trust a GM like that. That's very slithery from our guy, Robert Pelinka. Yeah, I can't have that. That's horrible. Yo, what up, Hood TMZ Podcast? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Dan, hot take. But if the Ayton news opens the floodgates and then we start seeing the Lakers do moves like the summer of 2019, I mean, that would be a pretty awesome prediction. I wouldn't call it a hot take, Miguel, but that would be awesome if that happens. And I think that would definitely help LeBron's case in wanting to stay or not, you know? Report says that Ayton is picking LA or Indy. Yes, we talked about it a little bit earlier, bro. It's between those two. I don't like the fact that there's a choice now, because based on everything I had heard the last couple of days, it was the Lakers or the Lakers. It was the Lakers or the Lakers, right? It was either one. Let's see. LeBron is wearing a welcome hat. Yeah. Also talked about that already. LeBron does that, though. He flirts. He flirts around. It's in his MO. He loves to flirt with the idea of moving on. He likes to feel wanted, is what I think. And yeah, some fans will get annoyed by that. I could care less. The only thing I don't want him wearing is a Clipper or Boston hat. As long as he's not doing that, then I'm not going to be pissed off at him. I don't really care what he wears. But yeah, LeBron's free to wear whatever he wants. I do not want this. I do not want this guy back, bro. I kid you not. I do not want this guy back. He was unplayable in the postseason. That, to me, tells me we're not doing much. If you bring Hayes back, that means that backup option, trash. All right, that means we missed on everybody. Horford, everybody. That means the Lakers were not able to pull off trades. That is a horrible scenario. I do not want to see this man back. Do you guys want to see Jackson Hayes back? I want to know. Asking for a friend here. Do you guys want to see Jackson Hayes back? Return to LA? Yeah, that ain't never going to happen, Dennis. Ever, ever, ever. That's a good 2K trade, though. I give you that. That'll be interesting. Love Magic for what he's done for the Lakers, but Magic is two-faced, conniving snake too. How so? You got to give me an explanation to that. Yeah, I don't think anybody. Look at the comment section. I don't think anybody wants Jackson Hayes. Yeah, Sharon said no to Jax. Dan, if Ayton decided to join the Pacers, what's the last available option? It'd have to be Al Horford. We'd have to full court press Al Horford, and then you have to go trade for a starting center. I don't think Al Horford could be a starting center, but as a backup, he'd be tremendous. I do not want Jackson Hayes as a backup, man. Oh, my goodness. I do not. Bro could barely stay on the floor. Did we not watch the playoffs? He could not stay on the floor. Jackson Hayes was a travesty. All right, he had decent little glimpses, especially when Luka got traded here. But for the most part, that man was a travesty, man. He was an embarrassment, especially postseason. Yeah, especially postseason, bro. Nah. Depends on if we get a big or not. Well, we need to get DeAndre Ayton. It has to be DeAndre, fam. Anything less than DeAndre off free agency is going to be disappointing. Right? Gonna be disappointing, guys. All right, where are we at in the likes? Can we go update me, please? 289 likes. All right, guys. It looks like we're gonna come up short from that 500 likes. All right, that does give me a chance to recalibrate, touch bases with my source, and come back to you guys with more info. I will be live after DeAndre Ayton clears waivers after 2:30 p.m. I won't be live just in case anything breaks before then. But until then, guys, I am signing off here. All right, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you already haven't, subscribe. Guys, we got to stay tuned because this is the day. The Lakers have to do something today. No more excuses. Final comment. Jonathan says, love Bron, but his stands are getting very toxic now. I think any player stands can be toxic. I had a horrible experience, the worst, with Russell Westbrook stands. You know, the worst. I love Magic, but he fumbled 2 big men. We could have still had Big Zoo and Lopez. Yeah, he did. Magic did. I'm not going to lie. Magic did. I felt like Magic is too emotional, and sometimes he was able to ship off future pieces that we shouldn't have shipped off. And Zubac was probably one of the worst trades. It's up there with the Russell Westbrook trade. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. We do not have any breaking news yet. If anything breaks, you know where to find me. If not, I will be live at around 2 p.m. Pacific, either 2 to 2:30. All right, let's see how the flow goes. Pacific time, when DeAndre Ayton clears waivers, we should hear more then. If it breaks before then, I will be live immediately. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. Video brought to you by my sponsorship, Underdog and Prize Picks. Promo code on the screen. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat, and everybody else in the chat. See you guys in a bit. All right.